What's going on, everyone? Hunter with Rebel Outdoors, and today we're going to talk about 5 things that I'm not so keen on about my Ram 2500 Moose build.
Oh man, the lighting's wrong for full flex.
So, when you have a truck like the Moose, sometimes you got to clear some trails. So this little Milwaukee Alright, so this is going to be some of the aftermarket mods that I've made to the truck, as well as some of the things that just kind of came with the truck when I bought it, as well as just some of the mistakes and things that I wish I kind of would have did differently, sort of. But let's go ahead and get into this. And number 1 has got to be all of the chrome that came on this truck when I first bought it. Now, I did order this from the factory because there were very specific things that I wanted to get on this truck, as well as the certain color that I wanted to get on this truck. And unfortunately, unless I wanted to pay more for like the color-coded bumpers, which I knew I was going to get rid of anyway, I would have had to pay, I want to say it's like $1,000 extra just for those 2 things. And then as far as getting rid of the chrome on the entire front of the truck and like the mirrors and everything, those I have to replace myself anyway, so that kind of sucks. I'm very happy that I did do the chrome delete. I still have to do the tow mirrors, but that's kind of, I'm waiting to damage those out on the trail before I do them. And that process just in itself probably cost me about $1,000 just to swap out like the grill, get the pieces paint matched that I wanted to, and just all that kind of nonsense. I really wish that they would just kind of do away with the chrome. And you know, if people want to have like a chrome package, you know, have that as an option, but just way too much chrome. Next thing's gotta be those Fab 4 fender flares that I have. Now, I do think that they look good on the truck, but my issue is the instructions were not the greatest, and for whatever reason you have to cut a lot of the inner fender on those things. I don't fault the place that I had installed them for that. They were just following the instructions, but there is a huge gap that allows all kinds of like dirt and grime and all that crap to get up inside of my engine bay, as well as like between my door hinges. And living up here in Michigan with the salt in the roads, not a fun time. So I'm constantly having to like wash that out. Yes, I know I can put new fenders in, but those are just kind of, I don't know, they're not cheap, let's just say that. And I have been hearing some in between the grapevines things about some companies coming out with some new inner fenders for those, so kinda, you know, wanting to wait on those. Now this, during the whole build process, was something that I debated heavily, and that was, do I get a mega cab for the extra room in the back, or do I not get a mega cab and save the 12 extra inches of breakover angle? And I chose to go with the crew cab, which is just a normal size back end. It's not the short one. But the biggest kicker is usually I bring my dogs with me, and there's enough room for them, but on like the extended trips it would be really nice to have, in the mega cabs you can completely fold the seats flat down, unlike in my truck where you can just kind of put the bottom seat up and then you get like this nice little platform there. The mega cab does actually have a lot of extra storage space in the back end. I'm not so concerned about like people back there, but another really nice addition that I wish I would have done is also, with getting the mega cab, it opens up the option to get the 50-gallon tank from the factory, and that is something I need to put on the truck. So living up here in Michigan, and some of the trails that I've been on here in the Midwest are like Jeep trails. They're not meant for these full-size rigs. I've had to shove this truck in some places that I've had like an inch on either side of my kickouts on the bed just because of how tight the trail got. You know, pinstriping is a constant thing, and I'm not really worried about the pinstriping and all that because, you know, it's an off-road vehicle. It's what it's built for. It's gonna happen. But to me, the biggest problem that I have is when I go out with people, I'm usually the one in the back, and reason being is it takes me a lot more time to get through the trails because I cannot go as fast as everybody else because everything is just so tight. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not damaging anything, and it's just not the greatest thing. Down in Kentucky, there was a tree that had fallen across I will call it a gulch, and everyone was able to fit underneath that except for me. So we had to basically make a path for me to get up over this, good sized ledge and make a like million-point turn to get over this ledge and, get down and then continue on with the trail. I mean, we did it, but it's kind of almost a nuisance, I feel like, to the people around me, and that they're always having to like make accommodations or slow down just so I can get this big truck through these trails. Now, I'm sure not everybody feels that way about it, but at the same time, you never want to be that guy. And unfortunately, I find up ending myself in that position just because of the sheer size of the truck. And kind of going along with just how big the truck is, how much that thing weighs. Like, having to get a winch, right now I have a 12,000 pound winch, and I can get away with it having snatch blocks and all that, but you really should have like a 15 or plus 1,000-pound winch in that truck just for safekeepings. The added weight of the truck also kind of sucks when you're going through like mud or snow or sand or any kind of that, because it just sinks. Trip up in the UP with some friends, there was like a sandy, I guess pit we'll kind of call it, that was on like the corner of a trail, and boy, when I hit that, I sunk. I made it out, but I almost got stuck, and that would have not been fun. And of course, like, having the bigger tires on the truck, the weight of those is kind of nuts when you have to like change them out, because my wheel and tire spare is 125 pounds.
And the last thing has to be that there's not really a ton of aftermarket support for these really just full-size trucks in general. I feel like the Rams out of all the full-size trucks are kind of the most used, with that being things like the AEV Prospector XL, or just because a lot of people have been using the Ram trucks for like towing, hauling, putting campers in the bed, all that kind of stuff. Full-size for me ideally is like more of an out west where it's more open kind of build. Now, funny that I'm making this video. Yes, I live in the Midwest, but I built this truck to mainly be out west and go do things out west, like hunts and overland trips and camping with family and all that kind of fun stuff. So for me, it's kind of, don't get me wrong, I completely understand why like a lot of the mid sizes get a lot of aftermarket support first, because a lot more people use those. However, I feel like the full size market just kind of it's like shoved in the corner and forgot about most of the time. I feel really bad for the GM people. They really don't get enough love.
So that's all the gripes I got about this truck. Again, I do still love this thing. I do still plan to go out and do a bunch of stuff with it, even if I may have to make some adjustments due to just the way that the truck is and having a 2500. I personally don't feel like 2500s and even really full sizes are the way to go in the Midwest from some of the trails I've seen. Now, not to say that you can't do that. There are a lot of just open, dirt road trail kind of things, I guess we'll call it, that you can certainly use a full size with, but I'm one of those people that likes to kind of do more of the technical kind of trail. So like getting out and doing that. Drummond Island's a big one here in Michigan, and from the people I've talked to, there's like one part of one trail that I could go do just because everything is so tight up there. So if you guys have any additional comments or things you don't like about the truck, go ahead and comment them down below, or if you haven't, go ahead and check out the 5 things that I absolutely love about the build. I've been trying to post new videos here every week. That'll kind of wrap this up, guys. So as always, like, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, comments on any questions you have down below, and we'll catch you in the next one.